Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Thursday BlackBird training workshops. So let's get the order settings window open here. So we got one contract, and it's going to be a trailing stop entry, a trailing stop limit entry. So by the open. Okay, just so you know, buy the open, those are typically like stockbroker type orders, right? NinjaTrader does not have a buy the open. NinjaTrader just has simple, right? This is all that NinjaTrader has, just the base orders from the exchange. So buy to open, that's a custom order type that from your charting platform or from your broker. Right, so that'd be either from your broker or from the other charting platform that you're using, Frank. So NinjaTrader only supports a market, limit, stop entry, or stop limit. Right, these are the basic order types that the exchange supports. Anything else is custom that your broker is kind of creating, and basically your broker is just taking one of these basic order types and enhancing it in some way, kind of making their own kind of enhanced order type. But bottom line is the exchange only supports these basic order types. So all right, so anyway, so it is a stop limit entry. So we're going to set this up as a stop limit entry. All right, so a BTO is basically a long trade. I see. Okay, yeah, so B for buy. Okay, gotcha. All right, so we're buying and we're using a stop limit, but the stop limit is going to be trailing by 4 ticks. So let's go in here and set the initial placement. So I'm assuming we're going to trail the closing price by 4 ticks. So let's go in here, let's adjust this, and we'll adjust this down to 4 ticks. So now keep in mind, guys, this is a positive 4 ticks because this is a stop entry, right? So a stop entry is above the market, it's ahead of the market or above the market when you're buying. So therefore it has to be positive 4 to put it on top of the market, right, to put it above. So all right, so there we go. Close with the positive 4 ticks, so it's going to be above the market. And also keep in mind this close price, it's going to be on the bar that's closed, not the bar that's building, but the bar that has closed. Right, that's what this close price is. So there's a good chance that this order might just get executed immediately. If you're trading this discretionarily. So, if we wait for the bar to close and then submit this order, then of course there won't be a problem. But if we manually submit this order, while a bar is halfway building, there's a good chance that the order might just get filled in automatically because price might have moved up 4 ticks or so. All right, the next part is let's build the trailing component, right? So our initial placement is going to be the close at 4 ticks, but then we also want this order to trail the market as well. So let's build the trailing rule here. So I've set the mode to custom, so we can build a custom trailing rule. And so rule A, let's see, there's no delay on this. We just want to start trailing this entry order right off the bat. So there's no delay and there's no trigger. We just want this entry order to constantly keep following the market. So what we do need to do, so let's see here. So there's a couple of choices. We could have this stop entry, we could have it trail when the bar closes, or we could have it trail in real time. All right, so I'm gonna set it up right now so that it trails when the bar closes. So you can see I just did the same thing. I set this up as the same as the initial placement, right? Where I'm using the close price with a positive 4 ticks on my offset. So see, it says 4, positive 4 ticks, right? So that's my movement. So you can see my movement matches my initial placement here. Right, so the initial placement says close 4 ticks, and then my action is also move to the close positive 4 ticks, and then the repeat. So we want to keep trailing, and so I'll just leave the repeat on 1 bar. So what that'll do is whenever a new bar is generated, it'll trail only when a new bar is generated, right? Now, if I wanted this to trail in real time, then I would change my action, and I would need to use the last price, right? So the last price is the most current market price that came in. So the last price is always a real-time price data. So I can just keep it on the last price like that with 4 ticks, and then my repeat, we're going to repeat indefinitely again, but the repeat, I'll set this, so this needs to be ticks against direction, right? So if we're trailing a entry order, right, a stop entry order would only get trailed if price is going away from the order. Because remember, this is a stop entry, so price has to go into it to pick up a stop order, right, for a stop entry to get picked up. This is not a stop loss, this is a stop entry, right? It's a big difference between a stop loss and a stop entry. So a lot of people use those words interchangeably, but that's incorrect. So a stop loss, right, is when you're already in a trade. A stop is to get into a trade. So if we're using a stop to get into a trade, a stop only gets trailed if price moves in the wrong direction. So if we're trying to buy, so say like we're trying to buy up here, and so we place a stop entry up above here, to buy, but then if price moves away, then that's when we want to pull our stop entry down if price moves down. Of course, if price keeps going up, it's going to get filled, and of course, you can't trail a entry order if it's filled, so you can only trail a stop buy if price moves against the direction. So that's why here we're using ticks against direction, because price has to move against the order direction. So if we're submitting a buy order, then if price is moving away, moving down, then that's against the direction. So, and we want to set it to, we're going to repeat every tick. So for every tick that price moves away, we'll move the stop order. So there we go. So move to the, so rule B would be real time. So this is a real-time trail, and let's see. and then this other one trails at the bar close. So that's how you do those two separate ones. Now, if I left both of these in there, you know, which one of these rules do you think would have precedence? Well, it depends on the evaluate using. So right now, the evaluate using is, you know, whichever rule brings the order closest to price. So for the most part, the real-time trailing is going to move the order closest to price. You know, if we have to wait for the bar to close, you know, then of course price could move away a lot, and so this, the trail at bar close, this rule would probably never really get executed because the real-time one would be the one that's always keeping the order, right, this entry order closest to price. So, all right, so we got this going here. So let's test it out here. So let's just see what we have here, and we'll test it out here. And let's see. Let me save this. So we'll save this one here so you guys can get a copy of it. All right, save that. We'll close that out. And let's see. All right, so price currently is moving down. So let's see, I'll go long. There we go. And actually, hold on here. I'm going to lighten up the color here. So we'll make this blue a little bit easier for you guys to see. All right. So, all right, so watch. As soon as I place this order, because remember I've got that real-time trailing is going to kick in really right away. So let's go long. It's going to place it up here, and then it's going to move it down. So what it did, so what happened is the initial placement, right? So there's the closing price of this bar. So when I placed the order, this bar was closed. So you take this closing price, and it popped it up here at 4 ticks above it, so at 54 cents. And then the trailing rule kicked in and pulled it down a tick because price was floating down here around 49. And then, of course, price moved up, touched it, and filled me. So let's do this again here. Let me pull price down. Actually, just a sec. Let's change the bars here so we get bars happening more frequently. Let's do a 20-second bar. Okay, there we go, 20-second bars, and of course I got some gaps in my data because I was on simulated data. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to pull price down, and let's go long. So you can see, right, that was the closing price of that bar, and so the order went, way up here, and then it got pulled down. So now you can see as price moves down, the stop entry order, is trailing by 4 ticks in real time. Right, and that's because, of course, I've got both of these trailing rules in here. So, ultimately you need to decide, do you want the real time or do you want the trailing rule that only happens when the bar closes? Right? So, all right, so let me take a moment here and see if Frank has any comments on this. And Frank would like to use bar close. All right. So let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so instead of deleting this rule, I'm gonna put a condition in here that basically prevents it from ever running. Yeah, so if I put a delay in there of 10 ticks in direction, basically 10 ticks in direction would mean that the order got filled. So this delay would prevent the real time from ever executing, because if price ever does move 10 ticks in the direction of the trade, then that means the order got filled, right? Because if order gets filled when price moves, 4 ticks in the direction. So actually, just in case we're on like daily bars or something like that, I'll set this number real high. Okay, so that should disable that. So let's close this out, and I'm going to submit a short order, and I'll move price up, and yes, my bars are backwards. I don't know why. I wish I knew why Ninja would reverse my bars like this. So let's swap these back here. Yeah, it could just be I never updated my second bars. And oops, so geez, I already got filled there. Let's try this again. All right, let's close that out, and we'll go short. There we go. And all right, let's just move the trend up. So there we go. We can see it took the. Let me draw a little 4-tick box here. So here we go. Oops. Shoot, I grabbed the flag by accident, and just want to make sure that the auto trailing got turned off. So there we go. So remember, if you grab a flag and you move it, it turns the auto trailing off. Right? So if you're manually moving stuff around, then the safety thing is thinking that, oh, well, you're discretionarily modifying your order, so therefore the auto trailing gets turned off. All right, so just keep in mind. So to turn the auto trailing back on, you need to turn your order monitor panel back on. Right, so you can go to the layout and you can turn the order monitor on. Just click on that to turn it, to enable it, make it visible, and then you can turn your auto trailing back on. So, right, if I grab this, you can see it turns the auto trailing off because I manually moved it. And then if I want the auto trailing to continue, there we go. Just click that, and so we can see now here as price is moving up, our stop entry order is offsetting itself, right? 4 ticks off the closing price here every time there. So we got that component done. Now there's more parts to Frank's question here. All right, so here's the second part. So after the order gets filled, that's when the second component kicks in. And let's see. All right. So Frank, pay close attention here, because I'm not exactly clear on what you're trying to do, but I'm going to do my best to interpret what you've written here. All right, so after the order fills, we want another buy order. All right, yeah, so Frank, is this second buy order, is it a limit order or is it a stop entry? Is it a limit entry or a stop entry? It's +4. It's okay, so it's the entry price +4. Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah, so it's another stop. All right. So we got another stop entry +4. Okay, now it makes sense. Okay, great. So, yeah, so we got, so we're gonna average in. So Frank is wanting to average in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a copy of A, right? And let's see here. So yeah, get rid of that. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put, so since BlackBird doesn't have direct legging in support yet, we're working on it here. So we are working on it. So since we don't have direct legging out, what I'm going to do, so what BlackBird will have to do is submit order B, and we're just going to submit it, way out of the way so that it doesn't get picked up here. All right, I want it to get submitted way out of the way so it doesn't get picked up. And then we're going to go into the trailing rules here. And let's see, we want a order status changed. So we're going to use this order status changed to check to see if order A got filled, right? So if our entry order for A, if it gets filled, well, that's right, that order status has changed. It's changed from waiting to filled, right? So when this stop loss is sitting out there waiting to get picked up, not stop loss. When this stop entry order is waiting out there, is sitting out there to get picked up, it's in a waiting state. And then when it gets filled, right, the status changes to filled. All right, so so there is our stop limit entry order. So when this order gets filled, and you'll need to choose which one of these you want. So I'm just going to set it to any. So if any of the orders gets filled, so any filled means, so say like if I was trading 10 contracts, right? Sometimes only a couple of those contracts get filled at first. It just depends on the market. So if you're trading 10 contracts and only a couple get filled, then any filled, would apply to that. But if you need all 10 contracts to get filled, or if you're trading 100 contracts, if you need all 100 contracts to get filled, then of course you could set the mode to all filled. So, but I'm gonna err on the side of caution, and we'll just say if any of the orders get filled. So then we'll do something here. So there we go. So there's our trigger, right? So our trigger is, we need the first order A, to get picked up, to get filled. And then we'll start moving order B and start averaging in with order B. So, okay, so, and then the movement, let's see, the action is, again, we're gonna trail. It's the same trailing rule here. So we're going to trail the closing price by 4 ticks, like that. And again, this time, let's see. This time I think we're going to use repeat until. I think. Hold on. Okay, so here's where things get kind of tricky, is with this second entry order. There's a lot of limitations on here. A lot of limitations on here. Okay, so actually let's kind of skip. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. So we'll get back to the repeat here. So the first rule is price needs to, so before we start trailing order B, price needs to move at least 8 ticks, remember, against the direction. So remember, these stop entries are only trailing when price is moving the wrong way. Right, so that eventually price will come back and pick up that order. So, all right, so we don't want the trailing to occur unless price moves at least 8 ticks, away. Okay, but not more than 12 ticks. So let's see here. And so I'm just trying to find out what happens if price moves 12 ticks away. Let's see. So for example, let's say, we were trying to go long around here, and then price, if we're trying to go long around here, and then what happened is price did move more than, price moved more than 12 ticks away when price moved down to here. And so if price moves too far, then, let's see, I'm trying to read again what we're going to do with the order. I think we want to cancel the order if price moves too far away. Yeah, Frank is telling me correct. Okay, yeah, so we do want to cancel the second order, the second entry, if it moves 12 ticks away. All right, so let's see. So we need another trailing rule here. And let's see. Yeah, this is going to be another delay. So we're looking for ticks against direction. All right, so 12 ticks against direction, and then the action is going to be to cancel the order. Cancel the order. All right, so we need to figure out the repeat here. And I think, just to keep it simple, I think to keep it simple and to be safe, we'll set repeat to indefinitely, and again, we're going to repeat we'll repeat this once per bar. So when a new bar forms, that's when we'll update the trailing on this. And I think that does it, right? So rule A, let's rename this here. So trail after 8 ticks. All right, and rule B is cancel after 12 ticks. All right, so there's our two rules there. All right, I think that does it. All right, so let me, just before I move on, let me go back to the board and see if there's any comments here from Frank, and then we'll test this out. We'll see how this plays out here. So Frank has let me know that after order A gets filled, if price moves more than 12 ticks against the trade, then we just want to cancel everything here. All right, so then that means we need to add a stop loss to A. So we'll just add a simple fixed stop loss, and we'll make sure we set it to 12 ticks. All right, stop loss set to 12 ticks, and it's a fixed stop loss. Right, it's fixed. There's no trailing rules. We're just going to set a fixed stop loss, at least for now. So, all right. So yeah, so that the stop loss will get rid of order A, and order B. Order B. So we can cancel. Where to go? Here we go. So order B. If order B doesn't get picked up, then we can cancel it. So we've got a trailing rule here that would cancel order B if it doesn't get picked up, and price moves more than 12 ticks against the trade. Right. So there's no and well, yeah, just so you guys are aware, cancels an order. It doesn't flatten the trade, right? So you can't. So if when order A is picked up, right, basically you have an open position. So there's no order to cancel anymore, right? So you can't cancel order A because the stop entry has been picked up, so that order doesn't exist anymore, and now you have an open contract. So canceling is not flattening a trade. Canceling is basically deleting a trade, it's deleting an order. So if you have an order sitting out there at the market, cancels that order. It doesn't flatten your position. So that would be called flatten. So who knows? Maybe maybe we could if we get requests for this, we might add flatten to one of the actions here, to flatten the trade. So never had anybody request that, but if we do get some people requesting that, we can probably add a flattened condition as one of the actions. So all right, just a sec here. There's one more comment on the board before we test this out. So I think we got everything we need here. So I'm going to, let's see, save this. And, all right, so we're going to save on top of the file that we started here. And all right, let's close this out. And all right, just a moment. I'm going to move the market up, and we'll do a long trade here in just a sec. All right, just going to move the market a little bit higher before I place a long trade here. All right, let's see. I'll wait for this bar to close, and then we'll place the trade. All right, I'll move the market down. We'll go long. I'll just move the market down a little bit. All right, so we can see order A sitting there and order B sitting way out of the way, right? We don't want order B to do anything. Right, we're waiting for order A to get picked up here. Okay, so we can see order A is starting to trail here. And I'm just going to add the bar timer on here since we're using 20-second So we're using a time-based bar. Okay, so now, and, oh, okay, interesting. So, yeah, so this didn't work out as expected. So you guys notice order B canceled. Order B got canceled. So, all right, so this delay, yeah, so we can't use this delay. So instead of using the delay, we're going to use the trigger. Yeah, so we're going to use the profit or loss trigger here. So let's see, let's measure, actually we're looking for a loss, and we're looking for a loss in ticks. And we're looking for, oops, not a 0.12 tick loss, but a 12 tick loss. There we go. All right, so this will do it. So this is, so you actually have to have a position open to have a profit or loss, right? So the delay, actually measured from when we placed the trade, right? So this delay wasn't measuring from the entry price of order A. It was actually measuring from where price was when the order was placed. So to cancel order B at a 12 tick loss, we're going to use the trigger profit or loss to do this instead. All right, so let's save that and save over this again. There we go. All right, and I'm just going to move the market up a little bit, and then when this bar closes, we'll submit a long order again. All right, I'll move the market down. Okay, there's our orders, and oops. Well, let's see what's going on here. Order B got canceled again. Well, everything looks correct. Let's try this again. Okay. And it just gets canceled right away. Okay, so let's turn this into a lesson in figuring out why this is happening. So one of the features that BlackBird does is it will spit out all kinds of information to help you, figure out, why orders are doing what orders are doing. So BlackBird will spit out the reason why it's canceling order B. And I'm just checking in here to see if there's anything in here. And let's see, no, that's all old information. So I'm just looking at the time here. Yeah. All right, nothing in the log. All right, so I'm going to close this trade out again. Let's move the market up a little bit. All right, place a long trade. And, let's see. I might have turned this off here. Oh yeah, shoot. I don't know why, but I guess I was probably a long time ago. I was explaining these settings, and I disabled my debug messages. That's why I'm not getting anything in the output here. So let me turn the strategy off, and then Ninja will let me change my settings. So I don't want to disable my debug messages. I want to keep those. So let's turn our strategy back on. All right. There. All right. I cleared the list. And right. So let me move the market back up. So yeah, you know, pulling up the output window, Ninja's output window. You know, when you're building complex trading rules within BlackBird, you know, this output window, you know, will be very helpful to you when you're trying to, you know, kind of debug your system. You know, if orders are not trailing quite right, you know, moving quite right, you know, and you're trying to understand exactly why, you know, that's what the output window will tell you. BlackBird will spit out all of the decisions that it's trying to make. It'll spit all that information out to the output window, and we'll see that here in just a moment. So as soon as this bar closes, I'll place the next trade. Okay, let's move the trend down. All right, so bingo. So right away, let's see. So one of these is going to, let's see. So if you'll notice, you'll see the name of your trailing rule, and then afterwards what BlackBird is, the decisions that BlackBird's making. So we can see here we have trigger, the trigger. So the trigger, we have trigger. So trail after, cancel after 12 ticks. Remember, that's the name that we gave that trailing rule. All right, so it initialized, and now it's waiting, waiting for the delay, and so it's still. All right, now it's waiting for the initial delay, and I'm sorry, it's waiting for the trigger. And it just executed. Well, it looks like I found a bug. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to rebuild that trailing roll. Maybe that'll fix it. Okay, so let's see. All right, so there we go. So I put a name in there, and we're using a profit or loss. So we're looking for a loss, and we want the units to ticks, and so we're looking for a 12-tick loss. There. Okay, and the action is going to be to cancel the order. So, you know, you can only cancel an order once, so the repeat, we'll leave the repeat to none. Or, yeah, the repeat will be left, you know, just to do the action once, right? You can only cancel an order once, so there's no need for a repeat on this. And, all right, let's try that. Okay, we'll save that and close everything out. All right, I'm going to move the market up a little bit. Okay, place a long trade, and let's clear everything. And oh, I did it again. Just a sec here. Well, yeah, it looks like we found a bug. So, yeah, it looks like we found a bug with the cancel action there. So, let's see. I'm going to try something here. Maybe this will kind of help. So I'm going to put a delay. I'm going to put a delay and a trigger. We'll see if this kind of works around that little bug. All right, let's close this out, and I'll place another long trade, and let's move the market down, and let's clear everything. All right, so far so good. It looks like adding a delay, which, all right, that delay should not be needed. So, but it looks like it might be. It might be helping to circumvent that bug that's going on there. And all right, so A is trailing, good, and all right, so there we go. A got picked up. That's it. Oh no. Oh, A trailed and shoot. Yeah, B, unfortunately, yeah, darn it. B still, order B still canceled. One thing about the output window is things can scroll by quick. Yeah, so, yeah, shoot. Sorry about that, Frank. So, yeah, we'll get this fixed in the next update here. But this would be the proper way of doing it. I'll save this file, the proper way. So there's a delay is not needed, just the trigger. Yeah, the trigger's all that's needed there. So this would be the proper way of doing it. So, but we'll get this fixed in the next update. So, which we're trying to get this next update out as fast as possible. Hopefully within a week, maybe a week and a half. So let's see. Let me save this again to make sure I got the correct settings saved. Yeah. All right. So let me check to see if there was any other components I missed in Frank's question. Oh, let's see. All right, yeah, so we're entering a trailing profit target. Okay, so so Frank, I'm not sure what your trailing profit target is trailing. You need a reference point to tie a trailing component to. You can't trail from the entry price. Oh, I see. Okay, right. So if your entry price changes because you're averaging in, then you want your profit target to adjust accordingly. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so profit target, we want that based on the average entry price. Gotcha. All right, so we'll finish this up here. All right, so let's put a profit target in there. And it's a 12-tick profit target. There we go, just adjust that, nice and simple. And we'll set up a custom trailing rule. And actually, I wonder, yeah. Yeah, make sure, yeah, we definitely, the evaluate using, we definitely want to leave that closest to price. Let's see. Well, actually, no, maybe not. Yeah, I think we're going to, this is going to be a unique case here, because your average entry price could be higher than okay, so yeah, let me back up here, guys. So, you know, if we get, let's close this out here, right? So let's use this entry price that we've got here. So, you know, if we did, let's say we had, you know, our other, let's say we had our other entry price here. All right, so let's say we had order B sitting up here waiting. So order B could be sitting up above our entry price, which would raise our entry price, right? So, but if price is going against us like it's doing here, then that also could theoretically trail our order B down below, which would, you know, lower the entry price, right? So we really don't know if the average entry price is going to be lower or higher. You know, it depends if order B trails down or doesn't. Right? You never know what price is going to do. So, you know, price could just shoot on up, and it could pick up order A, and so we get our entry price for order A, and then price keeps moving up and picks up order B, and then we get a higher average entry price. But if price moves down and order B moves down, then we could get a lower averaged entry price. Right? So we don't know where it's going to be. Right? So that kind of illustrates my point here. Shoot, I hope that stop loss doesn't got picked up. Okay, so when we're figuring out this profit target trailing rule, we're going to have to set the evaluate to the first action to trigger, right? We can't use closest to price or furthest from price, because we don't know if the average, you know, if the new average entry price, we don't know if it's going to be closer or further. It could be either one. Depends on how order B gets picked up, where order B gets picked up. So the average could be either one. We just don't know. So we're going to use first action to trigger here. First action to trigger, and actually, yeah, first action to trigger. And so let me just think about this for a moment. Yeah, I think all we need is just to move it. Yep. Okay, so entry price. Profit targets are always a positive, positive for a long, negative for a short. So we want positive. So it's the entry price plus 12 ticks. And let's see. Yeah, I think just to be safe. Yeah, I think to be safe, we'll set repeat to indefinitely. Yeah, so basically on every bar, BlackBird is going to be checking the entry price and then adjusting the profit target. So it'd be adjusting the profit target to the new entry price. So if a new entry price comes in, then all right, BlackBird will see that new entry price and adjust it, and it'll adjust it on every incoming bar. Yeah, so on every new bar, we want to adjust, we want to move our profit target to wherever the entry price currently is, right? And so we don't know how many bars it's going to take to get averaged in. We don't know where that new average price is going to be, so we set this up to just always, so we set this trailing rule up so that it's always being re-evaluated. So repeat indefinitely on every bar. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that should do it. That'll do it. All right, so we'll need to do the same thing for B. So let's go into B and we'll make these adjustments real quick here. So our initial placement. There we go, another 12 tick profit target. And then for the trailing rule, we'll set up the exact same trailing rule. So all we need to do is change our action, change it to the entry price. Again, 12 ticks above the entry price. So this entry price is, whatever the current averaged in entry price. That's your entry price. So there's no reference to an old entry price or a new entry price. It's just whatever the averaged entry price is. And all right, so we got the action set up, and now we just need to set this to repeat indefinitely on every bar there. So let's see. Yeah, you may want to add a stop loss to this later, Frank. I guess just to be safe, how about if we just put a stop loss on that guy as well? There we go, just to be safe. All right. Yeah, so we'll save that. And of course, when you guys get this, if you don't want those stops, all you have to do is just go in there and you can just delete the stop there. You can just go and delete it just like that. All right, yeah, so it looks like Frank would like to make a minor adjustment to this. All right, yeah, so it's a subtle adjustment here to order B. If you guys recall, order B, I set that I set that way out of the way so it wouldn't get picked up, and then order B is supposed to get moved down and start trailing if price moves in the wrong direction, so we can average in at a lower price or a better price. But instead, Frank would like to get order averaged in at possibly at a higher price. So if price keeps moving in the correct direction, then it'll pick up order B. So let's see. So I'm just checking the trailing actions here. All right, I think that does it. So Yeah, so order A is going to be sitting 4 ticks above the close, and then order B is going to be sitting 8 ticks above the close. So you'll get a 4 tick average in there. All right, so let's save it like that, and let's place it. There we go. So let's move it up. Yeah, shoot. Order B keeps getting canceled right away, darn it. Well, yeah, so, basically, if price keeps moving up, Frank would like to average in, like, have order B sitting right there, 4 ticks above, and get averaged in. So, all right, well, so there we go. We just set, so order A is sitting at 4 ticks above the closing price. Order B is sitting at 8 ticks above the closing price. I think that takes care of Frank's question. Okay. So Jeff would like to see an example of using a indicator-based entry. Sure. All right. So, all right, let me clear everything out here. All right. So, yeah, most of you guys are probably, familiar with already, using your bloodhound signals in here. So, yeah, Jeff would like to see an example of using a indicator-based signal. So, let's see. I do believe I have one of our partners' indicators installed, so I could do this. Yes, here we go. That's right. So I have added GZT's print profiler on here, just so I could have some indicator to give me an example here. And hold on. Actually, okay. Before I go too far, let me get the indicator on the chart so I can find some signals from it first. Let's see, actually. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm going to use another one. I got a second indicator here, also from Lucrum Trading Systems. So this actually is a little easier to understand, this indicator. All right, so as soon as this indicator gets loaded on the chart, then I'll look for a trade signal, and then we can set up some examples here. All right, I think the arrows are the trade signals. Yeah, so you guys can see the arrows here. I think those are the trade signals. All right. So we're going to do an indicator-based signal, and so let's go. We need to go find our indicator. Load that indicator in. It's down here in the L's. There we go. LTSRuby. And next step is to look for the trade signal plot. So you can see there's all kinds of other plots here. Let's see, it's got some fib number plots. Let's see, that's got an exit signal. Trade signals, there we go. All right, so let's select our trade signals like so. And let's see, yeah, we'll just do the entry signals here. Yeah, actually, this is another enhancement we need to add. We need to add the ability to select a different plot for the exit signals. So, All right. I think the way this indicator works is using the default settings here, using greater than for long signals and less than for short signals. All right. So typically, the way indicators provide trade signals, right? So this is the typical way. No, not all indicators are not the same. So some programmers use different values for trade signals, but typically a trade signal, you get a +1 value for a long, right? So a +1 value is going to be greater than 0, right? +1 is greater than 0. So that's good for your long signal. And then a short signal is typically -1, right? So for a short signal, -1 is less than 0. So that's why the default settings here are greater than 0 for a long and less than 0 for a short. So, right, so the most common trade signals you get from indicators, +1 and -1, and the default settings are set up for that. So, but but not all indicators are like that. So, if these default settings don't work, well, actually, sometimes, here would be the other example. So if a indicator gives you the entry price, then that entry price, so even if the indicator gives you an entry price for a short signal, well, that's going to be a positive value, so it's going to be greater than 0. So let's say, I wonder if we have something here. Yeah, all right. This indicator is not set up to do this, but there are indicators that will print, for 1 or 2 bars, it'll print the entry price. And that's your trade signal, is when it prints the entry price. In which case, even a short signal, it's going to be greater than 0. So if your indicator is printing the entry price, you need to set your short to greater than 0 as well, right? Because if you're taking a short trade on oil here, right, the price is going to be greater than 0 as your entry price. So there you go. All right, so let's put this back to the default here, and let's just we'll just submit a quick. Let me just check a few things real fast. All right, I think that should do it. Ah, shoot! I just missed a trade signal right back there. Darn it! I wonder. Yeah. Maybe I could force a trade here. Let's see if I can force a trade. I don't know how this indicator works, so I'm just kind of guessing here. See if maybe I can force a long trade signal. All right, I'm going to refresh my chart so I can take Bloodhound off. So you guys noticed Bloodhound was still on the chart, and that was coming from the strategy. So you have to, NinjaTrader requires that you refresh your strategy in order for the indicators to get updated that come from the strategy. Right. So Bloodhound that you saw on the chart, that was BlackBird was adding Bloodhound to the chart, because I was remember earlier I had a Bloodhound signal set up in BlackBird. So, but now I've changed BlackBird to use the Ruby indicator, and so therefore refreshing the chart allows NinjaTrader to update BlackBird, and it took Bloodhound off of my chart. There we go. Okay, so let's see. All right, so I think when this bar closes, I'll get a trade signal. There we go. Yep. So I saw the arrow pop on there, and then as soon as the bar closes, the BlackBird reads that trade signal. And there we go. All right, so let me just open this up here again real quick. Pretty straightforward. It's just like using Bloodhound, right? You just gotta go in there, select your indicator, set all the parameters, and then go and select your trade signal. So, okay, good. Yeah, okay. I had a feeling this was coming. So, so the follow-up question to using, okay, so going back earlier, I was saying that if your indicator might give you the entry price as your trade signal, right? The indicator might tell you what price to get in at. So if that was the case, right, we need to set our settings like this, right? So for a long signal, the entry price is obviously going to be greater than 0, and short signals are going to be greater than 0, right? There's no instrument that trades in negative value. So if we're going to submit a limit order, and so the question is, how do we submit our entry order at that indicator's price, at the indicator's entry price? So what you do is go to your initial placement, and we're going to change from price to using an indicator value. So there you go, indicator value. And actually, I can, this Ruby indicator doesn't actually give doesn't give a entry price, but I can kind of make one up. Yeah, you see how the Ruby has this EMA? So one of these plots here is an EMA. So I could select the EMA, right, as my entry price. So, but otherwise, so this really wouldn't be the proper way, but so if your indicator does give you the actual entry price for the trade signal, then again, I think, what you do is you select whatever plot it is that's giving you the entry price as right. So, but this trade signal doesn't give me the entry price. It's just a 1 or a 0. So I'm gonna have to do something different here. So I'm gonna pretend that this is my actual entry price from the indicator. And if you want, you can set a little offset. You can offset the entry price a couple of ticks if you want to. But there you go. So now my initial placement is set to the LTSRuby indicator. And there's also a possibility that maybe the entry price adjusts on a bar-by-bar case. So if your indicator keeps adjusting its entry price, then, just to kind of expand upon the question here, then what I can do is set up a trailing rule. And no delay, no trigger. I just need to keep changing the price on my entry order. So I'll have to set this back to indicator value. And I just got to go find the indicator again. So there's the indicator, and of course set up all my parameters and everything that I need, and then select the plot that gives me the entry price. So I'm just pretending that this EMA is giving me the entry price. So because I don't actually have an indicator that gives me an entry price. let's see. All right, so we got the action set. So it's going to keep moving the order. You know, it's going to keep moving my entry order to the LTSRuby indicator. And then I just need to keep repeating. So I'll just, you know, repeat indefinitely, or I don't know, maybe you only want to try and get into the trade, you know, like 3 times, 4 times, I don't know, right? You can decide, you know, how many times do you want to keep moving that entry order, you know, if your indicator is giving you a new entry price. So, yeah, let's see. You also, you know, might want to set a cancel as well. You know, it's probably a good idea, you know, to cancel the order after a couple of bars. So let's see, we could do this, cancel after 4 bars, or maybe if, you know, if price just takes off. See, if price takes off and, you know, moves 20 ticks, then basically, you know, that's going to say that, price just took off and didn't pick your order up. So if price takes off, you know, more than 20 ticks, as an example, then you might want to cancel your order as well. So, okay, let's, and click OK, and let's, I'll have to drive price down here and see if we can get a trade going in the opposite direction. All right, we should, oh, let's see, bummer, I didn't get a signal. I wonder if my entry price might have been invalid. Just a moment here. I'm going to try and find. So remember, I'm using I'm using this EMA plot as my entry price. So unfortunately, I missed it. I'm sure BlackBird told me why it skipped the trade, and my first suspicion would be that this EMA was an invalid price. So just a sec here. Yep. All right. So this lower one's my EMA, and shoot, I should have used that. Should have used this upper one here. So let's. All right. Let's make an adjustment here. All right. Maybe that other one's the MMA. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this one that follows price a lot closer. Yeah, I'll use that as my entry price here. So let's go in. Let's make a adjustment. I have to do this fast because it looks like another trade signal might pop up here. So we'll have to go into initial placement. And again, we need to go into the indicator. And I need to select the MMA. So I'm going to use the MMA as my entry price. All right, so we got the initial placement fixed. Now let's go into the trailing rules, because remember I set up a trailing rule to trail that entry order. And again, I need to go into the indicator and find the MMA plot. There we go. Okay, that should be good. Now let me move price up. All right, I'll move price up, and that should get us into the trade. And while we're waiting on price, I'm going to go back here and go to the control center. And I'm looking to see if there is a entry in here as to why, you know, since BlackBird was giving a was given a invalid entry order price. BlackBird would have told you on the screen, and I'm just checking to see if it shows up on the log tab as well. Let's see here. No, that was too long ago. Yeah, I'm not seeing the entry order in the log tab, but BlackBird would have told me on the chart here, that basically the entry order price from the EMA was invalid, right, for taking this. So remember, I'm talking about this short trade that was missed way back here, and it was because so that trade that got missed was because I was using the EMA, which is an invalid for a short trade. So we're now using the MMA. So here we go. So we got a trade signal coming up, and our limit order should get placed right down here, right next to the MMA. And oh shoot, I think oh no, sorry, that's right, this is why. Yeah, I think I had my signals all set up wrong. Let's see. Okay, that looks good. So I'm just kind of going through and just double checking everything. All right, I think everything should be good. So let's see if I can get a short signal to pop up here. Okay, good. So we got a signal coming here. So hopefully, and oh shoot. Okay, yeah. Here's the mistake I'm making here. So you see, the Ruby indicator actually needs to run with calculate on bar close set to false, but I'm running BlackBird. I'm running BlackBird with calculate on bar close set to true. So BlackBird also has to be set to false, right? So NinjaTrader requires BlackBird to run in false, since the Ruby indicator needs to run with CoBC false. All right, so let me go in here to say turn off BlackBird and set that to false, and then set that back on. All right. Now we should get a trade signal. The fact that we got a trade signal from the Ruby the first time I tried to use it, that was actually just pure luck that happened, because my CoBC setting, my calculate on bar close setting, was incorrect in BlackBird the first time. So it was just pure luck that I actually got a trade signal from the Ruby indicator. So, but now things should be working more appropriately, or correctly, I should say. All right, let's move the market up. There we go. Bingo. All right, there's our trade signal, and there's our entry order, and our entry order is sitting right on that MMA price right there. Of course, rounded to the nearest tick. Perfect. And if price keeps going up, then there we go. Our order just trailed up. Right? Our entry order just trailed up, and it's following the MMA there. And if price moves too far, then our order is going to get canceled. So let's open this back up. So remember, I've got a couple of cancellations here, either 4 bars or 20 ticks in the direction of the trade. And bingo, there you go. Right, price moved 20 ticks. 20 ticks from where price was when the right. So I got to cancel at 20 ticks in direction. And so what that means is, right, price was somewhere around here when the trade was placed. So wherever the market price was, then add 20 ticks, and so that was 20 ticks is somewhere up here. So as soon as price moved 20 ticks, then it canceled that entry order. So, all right, there you go. So goodness, all these little trial and errors, good training there, because you guys kind of learned all the little intricacies that you have to look out for, when you're doing high level kind of integration of indicators to strategies and things like that, right? So so let me just kind of highlight here. So just to highlight again, the Ruby indicator, I discovered it runs with calculate on bar close set to false. So I had to go in and change BlackBird. So BlackBird also needs to have this calculate on bar close set to false as well. So I had to go in there and change BlackBird so that it's also running with this calculate on bar close set to false. So the two have to match. That's a requirement of NinjaTrader. So we did try to see if we could bypass that requirement, but it never worked out reliably. So so we had to get rid of that feature. We thought that'd be a really cool feature, but just it's just we just couldn't override that fundamental requirement of NinjaTrader. So Frank is asking, how do I enable CoBC faults in BlackBird? He's saying his is grayed out. So yeah, so if you go into your strategy, if I select on BlackBird, you'll notice everything's grayed out, right? NinjaTrader does not allow you to change your strategy on the fly like that. So everything's grayed out and it's disabled, all right? Strategies behave a lot differently than indicators do. So if you want to change anything, you have to turn your strategy off first. You can't make any changes on the fly. So NinjaTrader requires that you turn your strategy off first, and then you can make a change. So you have to turn it off, hit apply, so you turn it off, and then you can make your change. Then you can change your CoBC. You can make any changes you want when the strategy is turned off. So make sure you hit apply, and then you have to turn your strategy back on, and then hit OK. So.